Did you hear that? Leslie Plazz here in the woods, December 19th, 2021. Just had a couple of geese fly over me. I better make it quick. Get the police car over here in the parking lot. I hope they don't come over and arrest me for being in the woods. I got my trusty lantern. So I'm going to make this quick. I can't believe those geese just flew over me. Zazoo Plazz here in the woods. Yeah, oh, it's a beautiful night. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon. It's almost completely dark. I just saw a beautiful sunrise over here. I mean, sunset. I got my lamp. I hope they don't come and get me. I'm just trying to do a little report. Fourth Sunday of Advent. It's the Sunday of anticipation, and eek, down to the wire. It's getting pretty cold and pretty dark, and yeah, it's getting dark here. But I want to talk today quickly about creation, because it's the reading where, Mary goes to see Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is all like, oh, the baby, and John the Baptist like leapt for joy and stuff, and she felt it and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, you gotta be where you're excited, right? Where the future lies, right? It's so if she's got this baby that's not born yet, and he's excited, right? That's kind of like we have to be right before Christmas. And my boys, I said to them, let's, what should we get Papa for Christmas? I said, why didn't my youngest son, he's an artist. I said, why didn't you draw Papa a picture? Or get him something for playing his violin for the new year, or something, because that's where the excitement lies. I'm excited about my Zazoo Plazz projects for the new year. What am I going to write? What am I going to create? Who's going to visit my website? Who's going to read my books? I'm excited for those things, for things that I'm going to create. I'm not excited about things that have already happened, because they happened, So turn your attention toward, because God, he's like, he gets excited seeing us do things, like if you're a parent and your child walks for the first time, or your child, drives a car, or goes off to college and gets straight A's. Like, I'm a proud mama, my son's home, his girlfriend came to visit. I'm getting to know her. It's a new relationship is starting. It's interesting. What do we all have in common, What are the things that we want to talk about? I'm going to go home and I'm going to make porte chinois, which is, it's like, well, it's something, it's basically shepherd's pie, deconstructed shepherd's pie. It's a French-Canadian thing. Basically, you crumble a bunch of hamburger and potatoes and cream corn and, into a pot, stick the whole thing into the oven for 2 hours, or 3. I always forget. I think it's 3. No, maybe it's 2. I don't know. But see, the thing about that is that, even if you make like a family recipe, you always add something of your own to it, right? It's like, so some people, they mash the potatoes. For some reason, my mother and my grandmother never mashed the potatoes. They just, they sliced them. Maybe they didn't have time to mash them or something. Maybe they just sliced them up and threw them in because that's, all they had time for. So that's the way I make it, right? And I'm like, how come all these people online, mash their potatoes? She said, well, I don't know, our way's the right way. I said, what do you mean it's the right way? That's, who says that mashing the potatoes is wrong versus slicing the potato? Well, it's the way we've always done it, right? Well, yeah. How many things in your life can you say, well, that's the way they always did it? Look at some of those things and go, not so much. Am I going to get in trouble here? Got my lamp. So yeah, that's where you start, Change it up a little. Don't send Christmas cards this year. Dare I not make the French meat pies on New Year's? My dad calls me up. Yeah, what are you doing for New Year's? He's like, you making the meat pies? Shall I swing by? I'm like, well, maybe not. He's like, I'll bring the turnips. Okay, maybe. Like, sacre bleu. If I didn't make the meat pies, my grandmother, my meme, would be like coming and haunting me, like the Scrooge in the Three Ghosts. What, sacre bleu. It's kind of a swear, but it means holy blue. It's like all my relatives who were such devout Catholics, and they didn't want to swear. So they would, use the colors and, holy blue. But I don't know. But question, why do we swear like that, Somewhere along the line, somebody didn't want to offend. Somebody didn't want to step on a line. So they made up a new way of doing things. We all made pretzel buttons Friday night. My son's girlfriend was over, and we had those things with the little pretzel and the Hershey's Kiss, and you melt and you put the M&M on top and smush it in, We made some of those. But, I get real bored doing things the same way all the time. So I'm like, well, what about this Christmas? Where in this Christmas can I shake things up a little bit? What if I didn't make the meat pies? Would the world end? Would life as we know it cease to be? What would my year be like if I didn't make the meat pies, right? I don't know. I've never, my mom always made them, and my grandmother before her. I don't know. I always thought, that's what you do. That's what you did. That's what you're on this earth to do, is make the damn meat pies and shut up. But now I'm starting to wonder, maybe I could not make the meat pies. Wow, what would happen? Yeah, I'll probably make the darn meat pies. Who am I kidding? I enjoy them. It's a little bit of my heritage that I can pass on to my kids. And yet at the same time, part of me wonders, it's the same part of me that wonders, what if I just took off, went exploring someday, That's the same rebellious part of me that I come back to over and over. Yeah, it's that Uranus versus Saturn. And that's where a lot of my funny stories come from. Well, I hope I'm not going to get arrested. There's no sign that says you can't be in the woods with a lantern. So, I urge you, if you feel like you want to do something creative, do it. Something calls to you. I mean, not illegal or anything. And certainly nothing that's going to hurt anybody. But rather, if you get an urge to write a poem, do a painting, cook or not cook, or just be your beautiful self. Certainly nothing that would harm anyone. But what if just for today, you went outside and watched the birds, saw the sunrise or the sunset? What's unusual for you? Make pancakes for breakfast on a Monday. Try a different Christmas recipe. Write to a friend you haven't talked to in 30 years. How about that? Look up a friend you used to be close to. Say a different prayer. Visit a different website. Sing a new song you've never sang before. Drag out that keyboard or that violin or that guitar. Take some lessons. Try a new instrument. God delights in us creating, doing something like, I wonder if I did this. And it's all good, Whatever happens in life, it's all for the best. It might take a little longer to get to your destination, but why not take the long way home? That's a good song. Take the long way home. Remember Supertramp? Take the long way home. Ooh, yeah. Take the long way home. Take the long way home. I like that song. I haven't thought of it since I was a kid. Go stand out in the woods with a lamp and talk to yourself. My husband and I went to the mall last night. It was like tumbleweeds were blowing across the parquet floors. There were ghosts of Christmases past. Our Christmases past. Santa was still there. All the little kids were standing far apart. They all had face coverings, and it was all a little futuristic and cold and spooky. So we got out of there. But we did have some fun shopping in the grocery store, and they had some cool music on. And we did find, I finished up all my Christmas shopping. And we ended up ordering some things online and some things last minute in the store. But, it's all good. We'll have a nice Christmas. The boys made it home from college, and then they went back to visit their friends, and then they came back. And then, it's that kind of it's a 5-year. It's a lot of back and forthing. But, so I wish you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, you celebrate. And I'm starting to not feel my tips of my fingers, so I think I'm going to cut it short and go home and get some hot chocolate. Paleo hot chocolate. Try something different. Go out in the woods and hike on New Year's. I think I might do that. But in any case, I wish you joy. I wish you health, much happiness. Until next week, Zazoo Plazz signing out. Bye-bye.